It always feels like home when we're standing in your kitchen. Pour a mug of tea and share the news. We might just sing a song when we're standing in your kitchen. And all around the girls and me, and we won't sing the blues. Outside the wind may blow, it may rain and it may snow. Red and yellow leaves blow round the yard. Inside we're safe from harm, Robin keeps us dry and warm. Me and you and Hoolie too, and the girls are all around. Rosie doesn't like it when I say we made a magnet. Here again, and today I want to follow up on a few details about strumming, a few extra tips that are going to help you out as you're beginning, as you're a beginning guitar player learning to get more comfortable with strumming. There's 3 different specific things that I want to talk about. Number one is the basic motion that we want to make when we're strumming, and where the motion is coming from. So what you'll notice if you're watching the beginning, and what I'm going to show you again here, is that our basic strumming motion is coming from here, okay? Our basic strumming motion is actually in the movement of this part of the arm. And this part of our arm is basically almost completely static. It's almost completely straight and motionless. So we've got this kind of windshield wiper activity happening here, and I'll just play the basic chords at the beginning of that. So what's happening with my hand, in my case I'm using my thumb because I play with my fingers, but I'll just grab a flat pick. So what's happening with the hand is, all that's happening with the hand is I'm choosing which strings to play with. I'm picking out strings. I'm going to talk about that in a moment. But that's really all that the hand is doing. The strumming motion is not coming out of this kind of thing. We don't want to have a kind of a wiggle worm wrist. We want our wrist to be really straight and the motion of strumming to come from here. So when you're strumming, just try and pay attention to that. You want the strumming motion to come out of your arm. It's going to drastically improve your rhythm, your strumming overall. Part number 2. I've mentioned before, when I'm strumming, what I tend to do, and when you want a clean strum, a well-defined strum, what we tend to do is we play low strings and high strings separated a great deal. So in this particular song, I'm going like this. Okay, so what I want you to pay attention to there is I'm separating the bass notes and the high notes. I'm not just strumming across the whole guitar. And the reason I want to do that is because, and it's up to you, you can use it or not, I tend to use it myself because it cleans up the sound. It gives you a more well-defined, clearly defined sound when you just play a bass note and then you skip the middle strings and you just strum the high strings. How do we do that? Well, I'm going to show you in the close-up. Here's my close-up to show you what I'm talking about with the doghouse roof, okay? So I'm going to play the chords in this beginning introduction of this song, the ones I put on the worksheet. So we start off with an A minor. I'm going to pluck my A, and I'm moving my hand in this direction up very slightly. I'm exaggerating it to show you. Up and away from the strings, and then I come down on the high strings. So say I'm going up and away, and then down and on. And then with the next chord, okay, so that's the motion that I'm using. That's the motion that I'm using, is this, what I'm calling the doghouse roof. So what we're imagining is that there's a roof that goes up this way and down this way. And it's an imaginary roof that I have on my strings. And that's the idea right there. And if we incorporate that awareness into our playing, it helps us to separate the low notes and the high notes when we want to. Okay, and the third thing that I want to talk about today is using tactile feedback, using the sensation in our hands. And again, this is part of an ongoing theme that I talk about in a number of the lessons. What we're trying to do is we're trying to play by touch more than by visual presentation or visual information. And the reason is because, of course, our visual processing is much, much slower than the processing that takes place in our hands and in all of our sort of neurological system. So what we want to do then is we want to begin to receive the information that our hands can give us, and we want to use that information. So what we do when I'm picking or strumming, when I'm doing anything with my right hand, what I'm doing is I'm orienting where my hand is by touch. Okay, so I bring my pick down onto the strings, and I use the edge of my thumb to feel where that first string is. As soon as I know where that first string is, I know the strings are roughly 1/4 of an inch apart, and so it makes it very, very easy for me to figure out, oh, there's where the E string is, so therefore here's where the space is between the E string and the A string. And again, I'm going to talk about this some more in the close-up, so we'll cut. Okay, so here I have my flat pick, okay, in my, there you can see it. Okay, what I'm doing here is I have my flat pick, and I'm bringing my thumb down and feeling the edge of the strings. And I'm paying attention to that sensation. So most of the time, if I'm not sure where I'm going at first, or I have a rest position, I'm often just bringing my pick down so that it's kind of beside the A, in between the A string and the E string, and I feel where I am. But if I know where I am, I kind of target it. So and with practice, you get used to the sensation of where these strings are. So I bring my thumb down to play the A minor. I bring my thumb down and I can feel the edge of the E string, and I know then that my pick is going in to address the A string. And with a little bit of practice, you'll start to get used to where these locations are, even without the tactile feedback of the thumb. But as you're learning, use the edge of your thumb to help you get oriented where you are on the strings. And you can just do a simple exercise like this. Bring your thumb down so that your pick's on the E string. Play a G chord, for example. Bring your pick down and play the E string. And then do the higher part of the strum. Then play a C chord and bring your pick down. And this time, you're trying to find the space between E and A. Use your thumb to help you find it. Play the A string for your bass note, and then strum. And then you can do the same thing with the D string. Okay, play a D chord, bring your thumb down, and put your pick in between the A and D string. And pick the D string, and then play the top part of the chord. And just practicing those 3 chords a few times will begin to develop some familiarity for you with how it feels to get the pick into a very precise location. It is something that your hand can learn. It takes a little bit of practice, but you can do it. Okay, so those are the 3 key things that I wanted to talk about today. Number 1, try and make sure that your strumming is coming from the upper arm, so you have this kind of windshield wiper motion happening in your arm. It tightens up your rhythm considerably. You get all those wrist and hand muscles out of the act. Really all the hand is doing is finding the place to drop the pick in. But the actual strumming motion itself is coming out of the arm. That's thing number 1. Number 2, the doghouse roof. So separating the bass notes from the strumming. Okay, and again, that's happening with an upward motion on the bass strings, a downward motion on the high strings. And the third thing that I call affectionately the Braille method is paying attention to and using my thumb in particular on my left hand to find where the strings are and use that information so that I'm dropping my pick into exactly the right spot. So those are the 3 key things that I wanted you to pay attention to today and to try and integrate into your practice. If you spend a little bit of time focusing on them, they will dramatically improve your strumming. I know strumming is an area that a lot of new players struggle with, and these are some techniques that will help you tighten things up. So I hope you're enjoying the hand magic tricks. By now you're probably seeing my little circle with my head in it over here somewhere. If you click on the head, you will subscribe to my channel, and then you'll get notified whenever I post new videos. I'm trying to post new material all the time, and my contact information is in the comments or in the description below. So you can contact me if you have questions about anything that I'm presenting, or if you want to set up a one-on-one session by Skype, by all means send me a message using the email address that's there. So get practicing, have fun, and I'll talk to you soon.